so can almost ink that as the final ban. For Ever8 would almost be a mistake not to do it unless they had a very specific plan. So that means that the Tigers can kind of set up what they want their first pick to be. Would expect it to be something like the Rek'Sai, as Kog'Maw increases the amount of AD carry bans.
Yeah, and Kog'Maw being banned here might mean that the Tigers are looking for that Kalista first pick.
They definitely are.
Sungyun is sitting on 3-0 on the pick.
We said his solo queue win rate, the competitive win rate. It almost, they have to ban Kalista unless they have a really creative counter to it in lane. That's what I said. These are the bans it feels like every team now has to ban on red side. If you respect the blue side AD carrier being able to play Kalista. So Rek'Sai was passed over in priority quite extensively in game one. And speaking of priority, this would be a very high priority for Braum. Usually you'd expect Thresh in this scenario, as Key is a playmaking support. But Thresh is one of his lowest win rates, 2-6 on the season. Braum, 5-2, and is such a staple. Is so safe. He warps level 1 because his passive is so strong. Gives you a lot of options in that level 1, and may just forced Ever8 to take the Thresh versus Braum's side, with Braum being by far the more reliable of picks.
Yeah, Ella has historically been a Thresh player, of course, is playing him with Snake over in the LPL.
We were there.
Yeah.
Good old 2015 spring days.
Beautiful. Although he was more of a Janna back then. That was a long time.
With the good old Draven.
Yeah, oh, Crystal. Ah, Crystal.
Now he's a support.
Yeah. But, you know, if you can play bot lane, you can play bot lane.
Apparently.
Right? That's sort of how
Core
it works.
JJ taught us that.
Well, bottom lane's going to be locked in here for Ever8. They're going to take the Xayah and the Thresh.
Opting into the hyper carry meta, so probably a good read to ban away the Galio Cog, which is the cornerstone of a lot of these red side picks, as Sejuani was banned quite frequently in our first series today. And Braum Sejuani is also this Freljord duo that certainly have the CC train going on.
It's the old stack up and stun comp, mate. That's what it is. Stack them up, stun them down. That's how it works.
Speaking of stacking them up and stunning them, we can start stacking them up with some flag and drags if we see that blind pick for Shy.
Yeah, that's like stacking them up and down.
Damn.
And then inside a Cataclysm.
But now we need the Kalista Alistar, and unfortunately the Kalista's been banned away to make it happen.
Does that mean we've got laning Braum in this theory? Hell yeah.
No, laning Alistar.
Oh yes, AP mid lane Alistar.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the dream. Rush the Lich Bane. Oh, amazing.
Sadly, the amount of knockups available is going to start to dwindle.
So, no Yasuo, is that what we're thinking?
Ever8 were thinking about disengage, but they'll go with the Lee Sin that Malrong is a bit of an expert at.
Yeah.
Malrong has quietly had a really good season. It feels a bit like Omti and how he was in spring season, where he had a good start, and then there's just games where you can see the whole losing streak situation is getting to him, and he doesn't have the same performance. We played Jungle Jace last time out, which previously had a victory on in the promotion tournament, but that was not the game to play it, you could say, against Katie Rolster, where they got dominated. Dumpstered is probably the word I was reaching for there.
Yeah.
With no AD carry claimed yet on Rocks, you kind of have to start banning hyper carries, because you do the quick math and you say, well, that's a lot of people to stand in front of a hyper carry.
Yeah. Sungyun, of course, does have pretty deep pockets when it comes to that. His Jinx win rate, pretty good.
I'd love to see more Jinx. The more times we see Sungyun play Jinx, the more likely death is to
Exactly.
play.
That's the only reason why I want it.
Hey, Sungyun in his own right has been a star AD carry this season.
And also, like, some of his cross-map rockets were super awesome to watch as well. So Camille's going to be taken away. And now what does Ever8 ban? Do they even just ban the Jinx? I mean, there are a few other choices, of course, things like Ashe, stuff like that. But Lava's going to have his LeBlanc targeted at him. Hasn't played it so far in the LCK.
Yeah, Rocks Tigers, Lava, their new mid laner. Crow and Lava, the duo they picked up to replace Mickey. Guys, remember to last year, there was a SKT substitute support player named Taehoon in the squad. It's renamed to Lava, also role swapped to mid lane, and his big mid lane flex pick when he was a support main was LeBlanc, so he plays basically the shielding mid laners and also the LeBlanc mainly. Syndra's another pick he's played in competitive than he might consider, but the Corki's available too. And are you really going to take Jax against Shy on Shy Day?
Oh my goodness!
How rude.
Yeah, that's just not on. That is not on. Shy needs to pick Singed and deal with this.
This is the matchup we see almost perennially for the Jax, and honestly, we see a lot of Jarvans picking into the Jaxes. They're playing with our heart, Atlas.
I want it so bad. But I think Sangyun's actually been hovering this quite a lot. And Lava now considering hopping over towards this Corki.
Lane pressure, blind pick.
I can't believe I was talking about the Singed when there's a Jarvan just sitting there already in the top side of the map. So now Key, what does he want to pick up for Sangyun in the AD carry position?
Could go standard and go safe, but you feel like you need the damage. So hyper carry, like we say, is the most obvious identity for Sangyun to opt into. They're not even hovering. They're waiting to see where they should go. It was Tristana when they played a similar comp a couple of days ago in their last match against MVP. Felt like they kind of ran out of damage on the day, but were able to just get over the line. The Tarek was the MVP on that day.
Yeah.
And shutting down Tristana damage.
Yeah, they were able to get over the line, but that was with a 5,000 gold deficit, I believe, in that game.
Tristana, one of the reasons you consider taking that of the hyper carries available, she actually deals quite well with Jax because she can just get rid of him.
Boop him away, yeah.
The ultimate there, one of the few abilities, and oh, we were asking for it, we're going to get it, Atlas!
Oh, all right, so Scepted going to be taking his Aurelion Soul into the mid lane up against Lava's Corki. And yeah, this guy is only a 50% win rate. Unfortunately, lost his first game on the Aurelion Soul, but did look great against KT Rolster.
And what you can say about Aurelion Soul, Lee Sin, and Thresh is if these three are unleashed on the map, you can make a lot of plays around the place. Back at Worlds last year, the big duo was Lee Sin and Aurelion Soul for the gank pressure. So suddenly things ratchet up, and they're trying to get at the Tigers in the early to mid game.
That being said, if you look over the side of the Tigers, as far as the front-to-back composition is concerned, Papa Smithy, you don't have much more quintessential than this composition that they've put forward. Shy, fair bit of CC, but he will be just a tanky body. Sejuani there, we know that she's just fantastic at existing and being annoying.
She is. You expect there to be pretty early Liandry's Torment on Aurelion Soul. While that won't kill the tanks quickly, it is a good itemization. Feels like in the early to mid game there can be a lot of one fights for Ever8. If the snowball comes through from the Aurelion Soul, a lot is possible, but like you say, there is an air of inevitability about what late game team fighting for the Rocks Tigers might represent.
Yeah, could certainly be scary, but at least they've got a lot of wave clear on the side of Ever8, and it might be Keen that can split push them to victory. We'll see what happens as we hop into Summoner's Rift for game number 1.
A shy chant there from the Rocks Tigers fans instead of the usual Rocks fighting.
Yeah. Understandable, of course.
Damn, Cloud Templar's looking ravishing. So's Dongjun.
Oh, man.
Those are our two Korean casters in their famous cosplays.
In all of their glory, I'd like to say.
It's so awesome that Dongjun did the official release video for Pool Party Tarek.
Uh-huh.
So good. What a collaboration.
Just stunning.
And it all started from a meme. People were like, well, his splash looks kind of like the Korean analytical caster, and a month later, he's in a video.
Yep. Too good. OGM production, PogChamp.
That was a Riot production, actually.
Ah. Well,
PogChamp.
toss. Still PogChamp.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Rocks setting themselves up in defensive formation, the old 5-point defense system. As the same thing can be said for Ever8. No funny business to start things off.
Now, the only adjustment you make when you play against a Sejuani in terms of jungle pathing is you expect the Sejuani to start on the big camp. Sejuani, at level 1, has the passive damage that she can do to the big monsters in particular when you use the permafrost and then auto attack. So she gets much faster clear on big camps, which is a big takeaway from the old Sejuani. Used to be about the W AoE damage.
Yeah. Yeah, when it used to be, just feel like you were Shyvana, but an icy one. And there's one of those skins as well. It was very confusing. Well, Lava, understandably getting pushed in.
And we still get a dragon. We got an Aurelion. So
Thank goodness.
Feel good about that. 3-2 has been one of those big problems, Atlas, for Ever8 winners. So while it's double ranged and they might win the race to level 2, Songyun on the Tristana could certainly pose problems for the side of Ever8 winners.
But right now, at least, Ever8 winners are getting a bit of the shove in. They get that level 2 first, so Jewel losing a bit of that health bar isn't going to be as much of a problem. Rock's just going to wait underneath this tower to grab the necessary experience to continue this laning phase.
Really weird to see Shy go Doran Shield as Jarvan. 3 Doran Shield start always a bit peculiar, but it's pretty common for against double ranged and in the bot lane, and also for Corki in mid. But surprising to see it in the top. Almost every competitive Jarvan player goes for the Crystalline Flask first, and it allows you to push up and pressure the Jax so extensively that I don't really get the logic behind the Doran Shield.
We'll see whether he makes it work for him.
I mean, it's not bad per se.
I was like wondering what to say, because I'm like, well, I mean, it's not like there's anything really wrong with it, but it feels less aggressive.
Sure, and I get that as a thought, but the big problem for it, although I'll hold that thought, is in the mid lane. Potential
Arctic Assault here as Scepter's just going to move over towards Malrang.
They don't have vision to Malrang.
Yeah, Q's not going to land. Thankfully, Arctic Assault moves fast enough to get out of the way.
The reason why it's worth discussion, again, I'll have to hold my thought.
Oh no, Winston Wrath comes in once again, and Scepter doesn't get the stun, but they do manage to get the flash. Songwon making his way out.
Skill shot accuracy on point from Malrang, so feel good about that. We'll try to contest the enemy side. We know that the Raptors haven't been taken, so here we go.
Yeah, he's going to get the smite off his Songwon, so at least he's going to keep his health bar relatively high, but there's the permafrost. A lot of damage coming out from Lava as well with the fast bomb, but doesn't get to weave an auto, anything like that, so everything's just going to be absolutely fine, and Jungle is going to move themselves out. Lava going to get stunned. That's a lot of damage.
Yeah, neither in kill range, though. Smart of Malrang not to take the second part of the queue, because Courage proc and in general summoners available for Songwon. Now doesn't have his flash open, so a little bit more susceptible to being ganked. Except for just pushing out and wants to back.
Yep. His Celestial Expansion control is pretty fun to watch, Papa Smithy. If you've ever played Aurelion Sol yourself, you know that that is way harder than it looks.
You notice Keen is able to walk up because Shy is out of mana. And the reason why I wanted to talk about Doran Shield on the Jarvan...
Oh, thank goodness you segued back.
I did segue back. Is the big issue there is that if you think of the play patterns we see from Jarvan, it's try to line up the low health minions with the enemy champion and poke him under turret, push him in, and basically make him pay for every single CS in the laning phase. You can't do that if you don't have mana sustain from your items. So if it means that the pressure on Jax is lower and he gets an extra 2 CS a wave, 1 CS a wave, it adds up, and then we know the inevitability of what the late game 1v1 fights look like. So the fact that he's opted into safety rather than harass trades on a Jax, that's why I look at it and think, okay, this is the sort of thing that looks small, but might mean a lot later.
Well, at the moment, Shy actually had to move the heck out of the way. Keen. There's another stun lands. Lava just seems to be freely taking this, but now has an extra Ruby Crystal as well as his Doran Shield, building towards his phage, undoubtedly. But he's going to keep himself relatively healthy against Scepter here at the same time. Back going to come in from Shy. He's going to buy himself some items. We'll see how close to the Tiamat he is. This thing's pretty slow here in the early game. Tigers have pulled themselves out to about a 50 gold lead, if you can be bothered talking about it. It's not necessarily anything.
Here's the duo we talk about.
Yeah.
Oh, a Sejuani would be a ripe target.
Yeah, Wild Boar. Delicious. But is going to be able to move himself away nicely. Good work, Bristle. Keeping yourself alive.
We see the Aurelion Sol doing just fine in the lane against Corki. Again, something we learned at Worlds last year, and in general from Aurelion Sol players, and against hard laners like Syndra famously can do competitive in those matchups. You can thrift shop so extensively as an Aurelion Sol. Just go back and buy. See a Dank Seal build actually coming through from Scepter. He's got 2 in the inventory. That's one of the reasons you can do well against strong laners, because you can shop so frequently. Just get back with your E to lane so quickly that the ability to push up, which you can do on command with your Celestial Expansion, buy, and then be relevant, that gets you through difficult lanes, and that's why it's cool to see it come back with the Corkian meta.
Yeah, it almost nullifies the laning phase of even being a thing. a lot of ways. I like it. Best way to get past a bad laning phase.
Exactly.
Is not laning phase.
If it's a tough laner, then just try not to lane for as long as possible. And if you're backing and getting more powerful with every purchase, you're kind of managing to do that as we're trying to collapse onto lava from every direction.
Yeah. The Valkyrie, though, is going to be enough. Even dodges the Q. Picks up all of these minions. So the Rox mid laner just playing defensively as per usual with lava. Sort of what we've come to expect from this guy. You can see the bottom lane Sungyun keeping himself up with farm at the same time. But Jill, a bit of a shout out to him. Up by 9 CS down there on the bottom side of the map.
Stronger laning phase for the Thresh, I think, is doing a lot of the work there. But like you say, not much to separate the two. Blue bar steal happening on the bot side. Maybe expecting a collapse from the side of Septon and Malrung, who already were frisky in that side of the map. We might also see a top lane visit.
Yeah, Flash has to actually be used as Kane can't quite lock this one down. Now Septon should be able to get himself over.
Ultimate.
Oh,
wait, what?
That feels bad, doesn't it? That was weird. Was it?
Let's not dwell on it.
He was drifting.
He was weirdly drifting.
He did some sick drifting. That was cool.
That happened.
Yeah, okay. Who said this game wasn't going to be exciting, Pop Smithy?
That was very strange.
That was. Odd interaction. But unfortunately, I believe Septon just thought that Shy was trying to back near his turret. His Kane had moved out of the way, picked the wrong direction.
Septon hasn't shopped, remember. He picked up the enemy blue, but hasn't shopped, and it's seen most of a Phage Corki, so while he wants to push out the extra wave like we all do, he's going to have to deal with picking up the cannon minion and then just backing.
Yeah. Package now ready for lava as well, so we'll see whether he actually decides to move somewhere as he actually cancels the back. This could be important, honestly, for the mid laner of the Rox Tigers, buying some space and making sure that Septon can't go back, get those items, and then start his roaming.
Speaking of roaming, Xayah and the Thresh had already left bot lane because they predicted the lane swap coming through on top side, trying to shut down the Jax. Another way to attack Jax is to prey upon his low wave clear. Looking for this dive.
Yep, Lava going to make his way in. Thankfully had the Valkyrie after the package, as Ella had turned up right on time. Ever8 going to move themselves over. Winter's Wrath doesn't find the target, and neither does Malrung. So it's all just going to fizzle out just a little bit, but good defensive play for Ever8 to understand exactly what was going on and react accordingly.
More laning items here for Shy. Tiamat, now he has the Corrupting Potion, Cull as well, so he's trying to focus on lane phase as much as possible. He's a lot more maneuverable inside lanes than the Jax, able to wave clear even in a 1v2 and often be undiveable.
Now, like the Marin flavor with the Cull. Certainly feels like one of his particular build trends. Is Lava even able to weave in a cute little auto attack there after he clears out the wave?
Yeah, you give the call out to Marin. The only two players who are 26 years old are Shy and Marin. They are the old hands of the LCK.
Aha, and that's why they're better at investing.
That's why they buy more culls, apparently.
So it's the future thought, you know. It comes from adult life, Papa Smithy.
I don't know what that's preparing them for, but
I don't know.
Maybe they'll be investing
Maybe they'll be
smartly.
an investment banker. I don't know.
The names that will always be around, just like we have all the famous Brood War players who are still involved in esports management and coaching positions. It'd kind of be weird not to see Marin and Shy around in 10 years, and pretty much a similar scenario. Yeah. Hell, maybe one of them still hanging on as a pro player.
Okay, going to go aggressive once again. Malrung actually biding his time as the Cataclysm comes in. They're looking for the stun. They do find it, as Malrung is not going to find the kill just yet, but gets the flash used. Will be able to finish off the Jarvan, but another Permafrost comes in. Won't be able to follow this one up as the Celestial Expansion forces the flash actually with the Q. Malrung under the tower is an odd move, and Songwon is just going to be able to lock that one down. In goes Lava. He's just got the teleport, and he's going to follow after Septon. Has to flash. But no! He flashes too late. Oh dear, that felt like it should be an easy follow-up kill, but Septon is going to make his way up.
Man, we see the Lee Syndrome and the fail flash in one passage of play.
Stunning.
You hate to see it, but you can't help but smile.
Exactly what you wanted. It's a good stun though from Septon underneath the turret, forcing a flash. Then Malrung just really did not need to spend some time there. There were certainly pockets of genius
But there was also pockets of madness, like why was Songwon all-inning when Aurelion Sol was always going to react first.
That's a good point.
And then the Lee Syndrome was questionable.
Jill forces the ultimate out of Sangyun. Good news story for Ever8. Getting a few more buttons in trade for their own, and Jill's actually still ahead in farm by a considerable margin, about 10 here in this lane.
Unkillable frontline is what Rox Tigers are shooting for, and the Cinderhulk being completed and inched towards by the other two. Going to be obviously damage focus from Shy earlier, but going to be a very, very tanky front line that Songyun's going to try and free hit behind. People are wondering how Sejuani's doing as a jungler exclusive, because if you remember in week 1 we had a lot of top lane Sejuani, but as a jungler she's 4-2, so it has been a power pick, and I think you were mentioning that even some of the weaker teams in the LCK have been experimenting with the Sejuani, so it is seen as, specifically with the Braum, this perma-lockdown but also insanely tanky frontline, which in a hyper-carry meta means that Songyun should be doing a lot of free hitting in future fights.
Yeah. And also, the Rox Tigers have made it through this early game pretty unscathed. Sejuani, one of the things was making sure that you can get to that Cinderhulk, as Ever8, they've got a pick. He's going to flash, stand behind Songyun, the heal comes out as well. Featherstorm's going to be enough though. That's going to secure second kill for Ever8 winners.
And the Blade Caller back end there was enough to pick up the kill. Going to push in the wave as well. Corki can just walk over and react, so they won't lose a turret in this scenario. Jarvan just back. Worth noting that Jax is not really behind in any terms of CS. The early rotation was Rox Tigers heading topside, largely to find windows to punish the Jax pick. Just been able to force the 1v1, and Keen is doing just fine as Sceptid wants to try and guarantee this turret.
Yeah, just going to move on over.
Okay.
Yeah, teleport's coming in from Rox. They actually want to find this. Glacial Prison, of course, is available for Songwon.
TP cancelled.
Yeah, okay. Not going to happen. Shy just heads back down, picks up this wave.
Does mean teleport is wasted as well, and Keen largely is going to want to focus on laning. Curiously, has gone for Sheen last, which means no burst trades can happen, and normally it is about burst trades, given that both Jarvan and Jax are about their very long cooldown ease when it comes to the engages, the flag, and the counter-strike, respectively.
Sorry, I was distracted by the Sapphire Crystal being in Keen's back pocket instead of a control ward.
No, but it's soon going to be a Sheen and a Trinity Force.
Yeah, but it's that takes up one item slot when it's a Trinity Force, and it, you know, does something, whereas the the Sapphire Crystal is just not
Provides him
doing a lot. Yeah, okay, that's true, but that probably could have been. Never mind. Never mind. Lava's going to continue moving up towards this mid lane and try and push this one down, but otherwise not a whole lot of damage has gone into either of these mid turrets.
It's actually pretty difficult for Corki to play his normal game when the collapse potential on Ever8 with, like we mentioned, Thresh, Lee Sin, and Aurelion Sol is a lot to respect.
In fact, no one really making any headway with anything other than the top lane outer turrets, but it's very even on both sides.
And then you ask me, who does Free Farm favor the most? And it's kind of situational to evaluate. My first instinct is that Ever8 are not good enough to play 4-1 cleanly enough to make value out of the Jax, and thus you just take the easier to execute team fighting comp on the side of Rox Tigers, but it can situationally be difficult. Jax can warp games, but more frequently than not in the LCK, the teams haven't been that good at using Jax, and that's kind of top teams and bottom teams alike, because here we go.
Okay, Featherstorm actually has to be used here as Lava's doing a lot of damage. Blade Caller's still going to come out, but that was first brick avoided as the Rift Herald was angry at Malrung. Songyun now in the mid lane pushing things out. Does mean that Sceptid can't really roam just yet. Still without his heal or his ultimate. He's in potential danger.
Bottom lane turret in danger as well. Remember, Keen still has teleport. About another 25 seconds before Shy will have his own.
They are still playing very aggressively at Rox. Getting vision over the side. Not sure how he put that one in the tree, but cool that he did. Very hidden ward now.
You know what they say about hidden wards?
They're the deadliest? Oh, damn, I've never taken damage from a ward before.
LPL thoughts.
Yeah. Scepted's expansion, a little bit more visible than we'd otherwise want, but I believe on the Rocks Tiger screen, not as visible.
And his items as well. We've expanded in a way that's pretty relevant. Trinity Force and the Hextech GLP completed across the side of Ever8.
Yeah, I like it.
More team fight ready now. But team fights doesn't seem to be the name of the game for either team, as it's gone so far. Waiting for that action. Let's waiting for that action.
We certainly are. Black Cleaver and Tiamat done for Shy means that, yeah, this Jarvan's feeling very, very good. Wonder whether that, like, it feels like that's about item parity with the Trinity Force.
I think it's slightly
just
ahead.
Feels better, yeah.
It does more in team fights, and it works in lane at this point against the Jax, so he's definitely more powerful than the Jax right now, but it can quickly warp, right? In a long lane also, that's a different variable.
Yeah.
But Rocks Tigers are team fight ready, with Jarvan being this strong and Corki in a great spot, so they got a lot of different options. Kind of looking for the ward plays, because getting Shy out of lane and making big plays around the map is what they want to be doing.
Yeah, a little bit unfortunate that the Winter's Bite missed just there. The exhaust actually thrown out for no gain either from the Rocks Tigers. I liked the idea. Scepted, of course, not going to fall for it. He was moving a little bit more erratically than he should have been, just transitioning from one lane to another.
Now Jax is kind of trying to decide the game, look to contest the enemy. Red buff, keeping Jarvan honest in lane. They haven't been able to push up teleport wards. They don't really have any good direction for him to enter, and they probably will lose the turret in top lane very soon.
Minion Wave still needs to move forward, and you got a Sejuani moving up. Jules taking a lot of damage. Does have that Featherstorm available once more, but that wave now destroyed.
But if you think about what's happening in the game, Atlas, they're kind of being bled out, even though they're the team with the Jarvan. They're the team with more options to team fight. It feels like Rocks are actually the one not being able to run the game when they have a gold lead, they have much better team fighting and reliable initiation as well. You pick Jarvan because when he decides a fight's going to be started, he has multiple ways to do that. And for them to just be letting Ever8, over time, pick up a top turret, stack up the items on their Xayah, who's now at 1.5, and also even potentially start up the Rift Herald, it feels like already Ever8 are getting more than they really deserve.
That was amusing. Harold just bopped Key, didn't even interrupt his back. Very cute. Okay, somehow, Rocks Tigers have been able to hold on to this top outer turret. Shy going to have to get out of the way, and the looks of things, Papa Smithy, you're exactly right. It's a 1v1 dueling scenario. Keen still well and truly in a good spot. Just beating Shy down. Doesn't even care that it's his birthday. So rude.
Yeah, the Jax disrespect also is...
it's tough stuff.
It's definitely a Keen-esque pick, who is the top lane carry, as we mentioned in Champ Select, compared to the much more team fight-orientated Helper.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it felt like the meta moved away from Helper. His Gragas looked fantastic in the promo tournament. Felt like that was a way that he was here.
It was real bad in LCK,
It was really bad in LCK. As there's the ultimate out from Songwon. Featherstorm does come in as Jewel flashes afterwards. It's the hook landing on the Sejuani, but is relatively healthy, and the heal comes out as well. Scepter's going to move in through the backside now, looking for the stun.
Cancel. They're probably just going to fight this.
Yeah, this is a fantastic place. Oh, the Buster Shot going to be enough to get Scepter out of there, and that's going to be Key falling down. Voice of Light comes in, and that gets rid of the Tristana. Everyone melting. 4 kills for Ever8. And Shy is just like, it's me, it's my birthday, but I'm not going to join you for that.
It may be his birthday, but he channels the teleport second and cancels it as Aurelion Sol with everything up is walking up. And they're going to lose 4 members in Baron because he canceled his damn teleport.
Yeah. See whether Ever8 are actually going to be able to lock this one down. I mean, it's 21 minutes into the game. Yes, they most certainly will. Ella was happily tanking that one up to help out. Even decided to try and give Baron a piercing with his hook. Nicely played. Locked down there by Malrung. Now with the Baron buff, Ever8 looking much better.
Remember, Rocks are the team with Jarvan. They have initiation CC, and yet Jax teleports first, which already shouldn't be the case. And then Shy is, okay, I'm coming in. I don't know if it's his decision or his team, but he just straight up cancels as Scepted's in vision. This can only go one way. It's going to be a slaughter Ever8 will be able to clean up, and because Baron had spawned just a minute previously, it ends up being the absolute maximum for Ever8 winners, and that is about as big a shift in fortunes as can be, as now Ever8 have Baron, a gold lead, and the items start piling up on both Xayah and the Jax.
And the Aurelion Soul there as well. Has the Rylai's Crystal Scepter now completed. Still has one of his Dark Seals with 5 stacks. Dragon's feeling pretty good. Now the Ocean Drake should go over to Ever8 as well. Pretty easily as they pull that one out of the pit. Grabbing, I believe, first turret of the game at the same time. As it was a little bit late on Shy as they were moving over towards the Baron.
And now Shy can't even enter lane against the Jax because turret killing speed plus the Baron buff as well means nothing he can do. They have no control over the red side that wasn't really visited for any point in this game, given how early the lane swaps happened. They're still looking to turret dive Shy as well.
Yeah, Counter-Strike does come in. Marang will wait himself over to the side just to make sure that Keen pushing up this far isn't going to be dangerous, so good protective play. With the build shorter Cutlass though, I just don't see what Shy can really do. The more he gets beaten on by Keen, the more health Keen's going to be getting back. Lava's going to have to deal with Scepted. Throws out his Super Soaker. Yeah, lots of damage. Voice of Light comes in, knocks Lava into the wall, but damage trades feel like something that Scepted didn't want to deal with just there. Stone Plate now done for Shy, so this could be an opportunity for the Tigers to find themselves a team fight to deny some of this Baron push.
Notice the displacement did interrupt the Valkyrie, so that's an interesting interaction to potentially return to in future fights. Like you say, though, no big winner in the trade. We didn't even have outer turrets down. It was only the single outer turret top lane that was down previously. Now we have 3 down across the board. You just wonder why drafting the Jarvan and then not really making anything of it. You can't really be surprised when the game is kind of taken away from you and what it feels like Ever8 should be able to do with this Baron buff.
Yeah, and at the moment, they're not necessarily doing all that much. This outer turret in the mid lane seems to be the focus. As in comes Scepted, just going to cruise his way over. Half the health now as Shy's going to move up towards the mid lane. Static Shiv from Sungyun just clears out the minion wave. Nothing gained here by Ever8. Just waiting for Keen to get enough pressure on the bottom side of the map to threaten that inner turret, draw Shy down, then continue their push with their Baron buff. Makes a lot of sense.
Again, if you haven't watched a lot of Keen, he actually reminds me in terms of what his debut has looked like in LCK of Ruler when he started for Samsung at the start of summer 2016. Smart player, he's good mechanically, does good things in lane, but he can be caught pretty frequently. I see him get caught around 40 to 50 minutes, I believe. Riot calls them isolated deaths. We don't actually have a stat tracker for that right now, but he actually has a lot of isolated deaths where his team has been winning, then he gets caught just walking through the red side jungle when he shouldn't be, and that leads to a lot in the LCK and the highest level competitive play post 40 minutes. So right now, he is very extended. He has 1 control ward down on the main red side, but he needs to work around incomplete information, and judging that when you don't have a lot of stage experience is actually one of the harder things to jump into.
It becomes a little bit easier when your team is ahead, though, and that is definitely what Ever8 are this stage of the game, because Keen is just a lot stronger than he's used to being in comparison to the players on the other team. Now with a Blade of the Ruin King and a Warden's Mail, not a lot that Shy can do to deal with this Jax right now. Yes, he does have the Stone Plate, but Jarvan versus Jax, after this many items, starts to become even more of a hassle.
But it does something, right? This is the build you go now. This is the, I'm cataclysming into 5 people. I've got a Stone Plate. I'm ready to be an initiator. That is what this build does. He just can't afford to not be first on the teleport, not maximize his item build. Because if you build for team fights and then never team fight, then I have nothing to say to you at that point. You know, then I'm just done.
Yeah.
Then I just need to leave this broadcast. That's what I'll have to think about doing.
No, don't do that again. Although you've never done it to me.
It's true. That was a kill, yes.
I'm not sure how I'll handle it, to be honest. Might be a decent social experiment.
I mean, the Ocean Legion has been waiting for a solo cast for a while.
Well, they're waiting for a solo Shy under the turret, as Marang says in all chat. That was your birthday, decided not to kill you. He didn't actually use the kick or anything like that to get the Jarvan underneath that turret. Maybe just thought that the collapse would have been too imminent from the Rocks Tigers. Nothing else going to be actually gained out of that. across the other side of the map.
And what Rux can hope for is we've seen Ever8 with a 13,000 gold lead at around this point previously, and then make incredibly poor decisions at being able to close games. And Sungyun is piling on items. He's got 2 items, soon to hit his 3rd item spike. They have reliable frontline. We talked about this all in the draft, the Braum Sejuani synergy and Lockdown and Tristana finding targets. There is no guarantees with Ever8. They've surprised us before at how they can make the wrong decision in the mid to late game. So while you see Ever8, and if this was KT Rolster, you'd be like, man, it's going to be game 1 for KT Rolster. With Ever8, there's not that same certainty, and as the items continue to be piled, as no base is broken, there is still hope for Rux Titans.
No, I feel like you're exactly right. It's not creating that sense of inevitability this time around. But Ever8 certainly starting off better than they have in a lot of other games.
So I think the question for
excluding that one,
and the question for fans should be, what should Ever8 be doing? Like, what do you do when you have a big lead? He had Baron buff moments ago. A lot of it is about working out which side you're playing, which should have been bot side, playing around the Jax, because Baron buff was down on the top side. Invading with Ella, your Thresh, putting down Vision to make the Jaxes pushing up a lot safer, and then rotating between mid lane and bot lane to take inner turrets. Not being able to take any, not really having any ward coverage, barring a single control ward in enemy red side jungle, is the macro struggle that Ever8 seem to be having right now. And it means that when they get a big lead, they don't grow it. They just kind of get immediate gold and then just end up continue to be trading gold with Rux, which is awkward given that early gold should snowball further because there should be no-go zones on the map for the team behind.
Yeah, and Rux right now is actually freely able to get vision in their opponent's red side jungle, which is something that you just would not expect. Jax is going to be able to take away this Mountain Drake by himself, though, so that is certainly worthwhile here for Ever8. Will mean that that second Baron, if they are able to take that one away, will be a little bit faster. As Rux now have the vision around Baron secured.
This is good, though. They're now grouped. Jarvan's no longer there, but they were grouping at least and feigning aggression. They still do have Wombo engaged. Walking up as a 4-man unit. Scepter top lane will take his time to get mid. I think he better dive.
Yeah, that is a Glacial Prism flying out, and the outer turret falls down. Malrong does get a flash kick. It's going to get the knock-up onto the Sejuani, who jumps back into the fight. The Flay's in there as Songwon tries to get out. Good heal
aggressive
from
TP.
Sungyun to try and keep him alive, but there's the Featherstorm. Really good Unbreakable as Lava has to flash. In comes Sceptered, and there goes Keen, launching over everyone, looking for a triple kill, and that is not going to be that. It's the double-double coming out of Ever8, and they should just be able to move over to another Baron, and Shy once again absent and just leaves.
He cancelled his teleport again, Atlas.
Oh no!
He's cancelled his teleport engages twice, misreading team fights as a team, as an individual. Who knows? But once again, Ever8 are going to get the maximum.
Yeah. Looks all too easy. They'll be able to take this inhibitor turret at the same time as taking down the Baron, as Keen just does a heck of a lot of damage with his Blade of the Ruined King, and now Mountain Drake. All too easy. Inhibitor goes down. You said maximum. That is almost more than I was expecting, Papa Smithy, especially from Ever8 winners.
If this game was a pilot for a new series, it'd be cancelled, Atlas. Because I don't know what Shy's doing. I really don't.
Yeah.
I mean, he once again has team fight build. The kick is sick, but it shouldn't actually mean for much. They could fully disengage here, Rux, or they can turn. Watch what Ever8 does. They see the teleport, like, oh crap, we're screwed if we go back. How about we hard engage? And then Jarvan cancels his teleport again. Doesn't get involved in the fight. It doesn't matter if he has 6 items at this point. He's never there.
Yeah.
He's the father that went to the goddamn store to buy cigarettes and never came home.
No. No, that's the perfect reference, but it's so mean.
And it's his birthday.
Yeah. Well, I guess, you know, it's his right on his birthday to be a bad dad. I don't know. I don't know, Papa Smithy.
He's not a bad dad. He's an absent father.
You can't be bad if you're not even there. Therefore, how can you fail? If you're not there, how can you fail? There we are. Maybe he's just feeling the pressure on his birthday. I could make excuses for him. Right now, he's just trying to deal with Keen, and I don't think that's going to be happening all too easily, especially not with that Baron buff.
That's the one thing he doesn't do with the champion pick.
Yeah.
Is deal with the Jax. He's 2 levels behind as well.
Well, inner turret falls down. Top side of the map, already fallen bottom side, as Shy's just going to jump in. Going to try and keep the Jax in there, but that's just a leap strike. Ain't nothing else going to be happening there. As Jules very, very low. Scepter going to move himself back now, and at least Lava is able to clear out that wave. But Keen is putting in way too much pressure. Malrong's even able to keep this wave pushing towards the mid lane as well. Those super creeps moving on forward.
Base already broken in one spot. Happy to group as 3 in top. They send Kentaxi over. Jax just wants free time, and he's drawing 2 in the bot lane.
Yeah, and as long as he just keeps his pressure up, they're going to be spread too thin is key. Taking some damage from Malrong. Remember, no turret in the mid lane just means that they've got free entry. Can move on over whenever they want. Shy's going to move up. Jax is going to take away the red buff. We're going to have a dragon in about 3 minutes or so, something like that. Maybe another mountain. Might help Ever8 as far as clearing things out and finishing this game off. But this is what we need to be looking at. How are they going to go about finishing this? Because we want positives for Ever8
on
that
the
they
upside,
can use moving forward.
They're not running down mid lane only. They have the mid lane inhibitors. They're happy to play the side lane, something they've struggled with pretty extensively. So already, thumbs up to the side of Ever8 in terms of being able to play the map and not just look for team fights ad nauseum. They have, just like the Kassadin against Samsung, a Jax who needs multiple people to be drawn to feel any sort of threat. Love to break the base a second time, but for now, good wave clear on the side of Rox. Made them struggle.
Yeah, and I just really like how they're playing out this split pushes. Okay, he wants to take down the turret. Does so, as there's another Cataclysm. Doesn't have the flash available to him, as that's going to be the pickoff onto Keen. The package was used there by Lava. Wants to turn around onto Malrong, who's just going to die for free. The rest of the team's on the top side of the map. And that's Sungyu picking up a kill that he definitely shouldn't have been given from the team of Ever8.
Okay, 1 step forward, 2 steps back. Okay, Ever8, I understand. Can be tricky there. Malrong certainly didn't need to die. King got his main objective in breaking the base in a second spot, and then Malrong kind of overstayed, watching the gloriousness of Jax split pushing a bot lane turret.
Yeah.
It's still 7th versus 10th at 10th.
It is, but I was about to compliment Ever8 on their ability to control a 1-4 composition, and then they did that, and it was sort of a bit sad.
And yet, way better than how they played against Samsung. We didn't cast that game.
Hey, no, they played really well for like the first 15 minutes.
Crumbs was so out of words in that cast. It was very amusing to watch.
Yes.
To his credit, he didn't swear like me, so already a winner.
Hey, that's true. That's true. Definitely a more appropriate commentator than Pop Smithy. Yep. Voice of Light's going to flat out miss though as Shy. We're going to flag and drag his way out. Good play, and Jules just going to pick up that kill. Easy as you like. It's Guardian Angel now done for Keen at the same time, so things only getting worse for Shy. Worst birthday ever. Got to be saying 10 seconds now until that Mountain Drake that I was talking about before is going to come up. Keen's actually just currently jungling. Going to move his attention towards the top side of the map. The only part that has a turret remaining over towards that inhibitor.
I just hope Ever8 do the very obvious play here. They walk as 3 or 4 through the enemy jungle, put down a couple of control wards, and take the bot lane inhibitor. You know, ensure that there's not going to be an easy collapse. Happy as happy can be. Keen might face check 4 people.
That is exactly what he's going to do, Pop Smithy. And he's going to get knocked up over and over again and stunned and taken down to his Guardian Angel. And Ever8 winners are just going to walk into the enemy base. Oh my goodness, he might actually live here. No, he's definitely not going to live. Lava's going to be able to pick up that kill. Inhibitor's just going to fall down across the board, though, as Ever8 winners use him as a bait. Stunning. I think that's worth.
Absolutely. Getting 2 inhibitors certainly is worth. Means that testing any objective on the map, even their own blue buff, becomes pretty difficult to pull off for the side of Rox Tigers.
Especially the next Baron that's going to be up in a minute and a half. So, I like that a lot. Mid lane as well as the bottom lane just feels pretty great if you're going for the Baron. 3 of them probably better, but then you probably just want to win the game. So there are a lot of teleport wards inside the base here at the same time. I feel like if Ever8 play this correctly, they've theoretically got a checkmate situation with how quickly the Jax will be able to finish off inhibitor turrets.
And that's kind of
next turrets.
That's the quandary we're in, right, Atlas? Because right now, Rox can say, well, we could win a team fight. And you know what? They might be right. But Ever8 should look at it and be like, we don't need to team fight. It doesn't matter if we have a gold lead. They have 2 downed inhibitors. We should be able to play the side lanes to a point where there is no way for Rox Tigers to actually get a true 5v5 and just end the game in an almost bloodless fashion. Is an opportunity that's available to Ever8 if they play out the game smartly. Malrong to his credit, puts down a ward, does not die face check.
Yep, nicely done. Did lose that control ward immediately, which was his last one, but still definitely good. Has his Stoneplate plus Locket combination as well, Papa Smithy. Ever8 showing more and more signs of positivity. Try looking to get pushing on this bot lane. Of course, as soon as their waves are in order, it's absolutely fine to not worry too much about any backdoor style play, just because there are 2 Nexus turrets. But as soon as the minions start crashing forward, that is when Ever8 just have so much control with teleport up.
They feel like they need to force the Baron. This would be a scenario where a 5v5 fight could happen. Now, they could play the side lanes. They need to push out the mid lane before they make a Baron play. It's all about mid priority. Going to push out top at least to begin. Control wards down in the enemy jungle by Rox Tigers, trying to make picks earlier. Means that kind of everyone's running each other around the map, and for now, it is actually Rox right in the top lane minion wave to try and break the base in the 3rd spot.
Yeah, good vision by Rox as well. Got that cute little ward towards the blue buff, or where the blue buff used to be. It's going to show them exactly where Ever8 are. They're just going to start off this Baron. They got a lot of damage. The 6-item Xayah doing so much work, but Rox move themselves over. Another teleport as Lava's going to make his way in, but Shy completes a teleport this time as Keen in trouble, jumps himself right back to his team as Shy has to get himself out. Oh, Marong was looking for the kick, but doesn't quite find it. Finally gets it onto Songyun, who jumps his way out, and finally the kill comes in. It's a double already for Jewel as Sceptred grabs one at the same time. Lava makes it a triple for Jewel, and they'll just run it up the mid lane and finish this game off.
And it feels like Ever8, sure. Did they need to team fight? No, but they put trust in their gold lead. 10,000 gold is enough at this time of the game. Finally, the teleport comes through, but it is no game. It wasn't even a teleport from Shy. He just rocked up this time.
Yes.
But the game will end regardless, Atlas, and Ever8 winners in surprising fashion win game 1.
Yep, the name not as ironic anymore, Papa Smithy, as Ever8 winners are able to take number 1. Is a best of 3 series, though. We've seen this team. Consistency not necessarily